Well, I would recommend two really important interventions on farm. The first one would be that we really need to be recording disease and mortality on farm and weight gains from calf to calving down, so that we get a much better understanding of actually how we're truly performing. Unfortunately, on too many farms, we just don't know what's going on, and all too frequently when we do measure, we realise it's way below the performance we would aspire to. The second intervention would be to improve the nutritional programme on farm. Frequently we are just failing to provide the correct nutritional inputs into these animals to allow them to perform to their best ability. You can sometimes very obviously see the need, because you can see obviously either very thin, poor condition animals or pot-bellied animals in the very extreme examples, but frequently you can go and the calves themselves can look relatively healthy, or heifers look relatively healthy. There is no immediate understanding that there is a problem until you realise how old they are, and then you realise that to be that weight and that age is not really where we need to be. So in terms of how we change that nutritional state, frequently the most important intervention is to improve the pre-weaning phase, the milk feeding phase, that we really need to encourage farmers to increase the levels of milk fed through to weaning. There is lots of evidence from in our own practice that calves are really failing to grow at all in the first 30 days and poorly in the second 30 days, exactly at the point where we really want them to perform particularly well, because of all the science that suggests that we can achieve that. Then the gains we get in lifetime productivity and reduced choline and disease are there to be had. To engage farmers in the need for change will very much depend on the circumstances that you find yourself there on the farm. It may be well that you are addressing a problem within the young stock, whether it's disease or poor growth rates, in which case it's an obvious, easy access to start engaging in how things could change. Other times it may be as part of a herd health review and discussing, looking at overall herd parameters and pointing out that, say, the age to first calving isn't as good as it should be and that we need to reduce it. The final option may be in terms of financial performance of the farm and where economies could be had, and obviously heparin is extremely high variable cost to the farmer, and therefore efficiencies and improvements in there is an opportunity for the farmer to save money and obviously increase income. So there are a variety of ways of having that conversation. It's going to depend on understanding the farmer and the current issues facing the farm at that time. To try and get a farmer engaged it can always be a challenge. It very much depends on the circumstances. It might be very easy because there are a lot of problems, and other times it may be ostensibly going well, but you still think there's room for improvement. One of the best things ultimately, though, is just trying farmers to trial it. Ultimately, it doesn't really require any change in infrastructure on the farm, or in terms of improving feeding practice, all it requires is a bit more input. And I think once you get farmers taking that on board and giving it a go, once they see the benefits, they're very happy to continue.